Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. We've been waiting for 2 days to get a swing low on the daily price action on Bitcoin. And it seems that that is what we're having today. But the question is, was that it? Or is there a little bit more downside to consider? All right, let's look at the charts and let's try to find the answer to that. Hit the like, subscribe. Remember to keep that notification bell on every time I put out one of these videos, and always comment down before starting to watch the video, because usually after you run to the charts to look at things and then you forget. That happens to me a lot as well. Let's have a look at the liquidation levels in here. We have the 95K still on the table. It's getting bigger. More people are trying to short this, and we are just having a move that almost hit that 90K. Remember, my wishful thinking this morning was saying, if today we get the retracement, hopefully we hold that 90K. So today we need to assess whether that's it, or if we're gonna just literally call it and go back into the red and consume that juicy liquidity on the upper end straight away. So for that, I'm gonna zoom in and leave all that red out of the screen if the device allows me to do that. Bear with me. And we're gonna focus on this liquidity on the lower end. So we just liquidated some longs at 91,500, and we are leaving behind a couple of dudes, 90K 500 and 90K. Those are the bigger liquidation levels right where we went this morning. Keep them in a note, because we're gonna go into other charts and I'm gonna show you what else is there, okay? Because basically, if we don't understand all the data, we are trading blindly, and we need to see fair value gaps, we need to see other things to understand. Of course, no one denies that 95K is the big boss of the short-term liquidity. It's the biggest level, even on the long term. We're gonna look next. Actually, let's go to the long term. I got almost too excited when I saw this, and I wanna share it with you. So, levels. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you've been in the channel watching, you know the familiar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside, and the 1, 2, 3 to the upside, right? Obviously, 1 is the big boss, but that is roughly between 125 to 130. But if we zoom in here, we get below 80 is the largest. Obviously, that we haven't been there since earlier in the cycle. But if we just focus, keep your eyes on the left-hand side where you see the prices, and look at that 95. So that's what we have consumed. We came from low 80s, so obviously between 80 and 95 there isn't anything, but 95 is a big bump. That is what is currently attracting the price, and you can now observe it, quantify it as well in the longer term liquidation pools on Trading Different. I told you to get the Black Friday offer. I hope you took it. That was an amazing offer. I don't think it's anymore available, unfortunately. Then we have the 100K, and we have a steady cumulative red increasing slowly and steadily up until the all-time high. Below the price, we got that 82.7. And then we have big levels, the 4-5 that we haven't taken. The 4 is the nightmare of this move up. Obviously, that confirms, if we go there, that this was a dead cat bounce if we land on number 4. Let's go back to short term, and let's focus on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour today, we have a rejection right at the top of the RSI channel. If this loads, you're going to be able to see it at 66.73, precisely the equivalent level where we got the rejection on the 28th of November. We got another rejection in here, and we're doing kind of a similar move, right? A breakdown like this, but there is a clear difference. All this wave up in here had multiple swings. You can see one swing in here at 33. People say that they cannot really properly see the cursor. I don't know if this offers something to show it better. Anyways, there's another swing around 48, and then we land on 69. In here, it's been in a single wave. From 24, we reach 64 without any swing. Here's where we do the rolling over against 66, and that's about it. So this first retracement of 54, 55 is the first one we do. Yes, it is the breakdown, but there is no pivots. In here you have a pivot of 48, but where is our pivot here to really be able to place a line? We need to put a line in here, and we need to connect it with something. Is that a pivot? I don't think so. So this is our first pivot. Unfortunately, we have to put it like that and see if we bounce up, and then if we break it below. Otherwise, we're kind of breaking the rule by placing too early a trend line that we need to break to the downside. On the price action on the 4 hour, we are right there against that neckline of what is it, 93.5, 93.7, and we've seen already a rejection. Now that rejection is very shallow, and it got so far bought up at 91k. So now we are pretty much within a bull flag here. The context is still bullish, just like this one was up until the equal lows, bullish at 90k, and then suddenly we puke. That was caused by Japan, potentially threatening to increase the rates. Obviously, that's an overreaction, right? So we went all the way down and we came even higher. So there is now a bullish structure, and we need to defend this 90k, in my opinion, as much as we can. So far, the volume profile is defending it, right? We got the point of control now at 91.5, and we are holding that level. So that is really positive for the longs. Now I'm going to show you, if we fail that one, we can come into 87, 86. There's another volume profile heel right there at 87. And there's a bunch of other things. Specifically, I can refer you into this fair value gap. The chunky one, the one that gives you all that speed, ends at 87. So if we cannot really contain the 91.5, which will be the most bullish case, let's save the day at 87, 88, and that's it. Below that, the structure gets just too gray area, leaning towards the reddish kind of area, because we just reclaimed the falling wedge, we just reclaimed the 91.500, and going too low and not recovering quickly signifies that, well, this is just another failed attempt, and we're going to have to hope for a third one. This is already the second one, and that gets a bit tough, we have to admit. Daily, extremely happy. On the daily, very clear of noise. You can see in here, breakout, perfect. There's no even news about going into the 40.56 that we talk about in the morning. Intra-candle, we got closer to that. It's currently at 88, and we've been like 3k away from that. So still looking in the bullish side on the daily. It is the 4 hour where the battles are currently going on, and we are there trying to define what happens next. So let me look at the order book. At 95 to 94,500, there is a significant wall of selling on Binance. That's almost 3k. If we count 94, yeah, over 4k, over 3k of resistance. Very precise the allocation. There's no multiple levels, and that's definitely gonna come up in the 1 to 2 or the 2 to 5 percentage deviation on the ratios on high block capital once we get there. I'm not going to cover much more of the order book. Nothing has really changed much apart from that. Liquidation levels. Let's look if we have managed to clear some of the excessive long liquidity at stake. So this morning there was 600K and we have reduced to just below 500K. That's nothing. So there's still some potential. Allow yourself some room for the price to potentially clear out that chunky fair value gap I mentioned. That is acceptable as long as we defend 87,500, I think it was. Go back in the video if I'm saying wrong the number, but I think that was the critical number there. Still, everybody referring to the chunky liquidity over 95K. Stay until the end of the video because there's something that we need to discuss about the news that could be causing this move down. Now, as you know in this channel, you're subscribed to this channel because even though I read the news, even though I follow the news, we know that there is a pullback before knowing even the news. Then we read the news and we understand, oh, it was the news that caused that technical to start leaning or shifting in certain direction 3 days ago. We never know what's going to be the news, but we see the technicals, right? We put 2 days ago, a pullback is coming, a bump is coming. In the short term, of course, this is not a bump like the end of the cycle or anything. It's just daily 4-hour noise that, we are well aware that is incoming. The order book is heavy in the red, all layers except for the 10 to 20% that you can see on the second from bottom to top area. That means that probably there is good support below 10 to 20% deviation away from the price, or maybe there's a lot of resistance from 10 to 20 above. All the rest of the deviations are all in the red, so there's a lot of resistance at the moment. This is not a signal to necessarily short. It's not enough to short. We got in here the CPR also giving us some good indications. So this is quite bullish if we manage to close like this. We are on a daily chart. So if today we close like that, that is a won battle. Not the war, but the battle is potentially won. Because we enter into the pivots, our task at hand on the daily is to climb into 96 and reclaim that area between top pivot and top resistance at 107.5. That is our job at the moment. We need to do that. So far we got 2 days rejection from the middle pivot, which is the most important one, but the lower one is kind of being bought up. So we are getting this bounce back down into 90. If we close the day like at 90 or below 90, that looks like a rejection, right? It looks bad. But if we get bought up in here, that is somehow reassuring that we got a chance still on the table, right? That we can potentially use. Let's go now into some news and let's try to understand the picture, the general picture. Bitcoin is trading in a tight consolidation range, 92 to 94 today, showing resilience in the face of an unexpectedly strong US labor data. While the Fusaka upgrade has ignited an Ethereum-led rally, 4.5%, Bitcoin is currently lagging, digesting recent gains. The key driver today is the 191K initial jobless claims. Okay, we didn't know we were going to get that. We just knew we were going to get some data. The lowest since 2022, which complicates the Federal Reserve's rate cut path, but confirms economic robustness. So that's not what the traders want. As far as I understand, traders, what they want to trade is the rate cut. They want to trade easy money, cheap money coming into the system, floating air into all directions, so risk on assets can go crazy. US jobless claims shock macro released today at 8:30 a.m. ET. US initial jobless claims dropped from to 191K versus 219 expected. This is the lowest level in over 3 years. Trading impact: traditionally, good news is bad news for liquidity, fearing a hawkish Fed, but BTC has held the 92K support firmly, suggesting the market interprets this as a soft landing rather than a rate hike threat. Okay, we got also the CEO Rick Wurster confirmed today and late yesterday that the 12 trillion asset manager plans to launch a spot Bitcoin and Ethereum trading. We're talking about Charles Schwab enters the arena adoption. And this affects Bitcoin and Ethereum trading directly to clients in the first half of 2026. Significance: a major mainstream validation that opens one of the largest retail wealth pools in the US to direct crypto exposure. We got also a few more things. Well, we've seen some inflows as well. Data released this morning. Conference 57 million to 70 plus million of net inflows for Bitcoin ETF, reversing 4-week slide. That is great. Let's skip the technicals. Macro: labor market strength. We covered that. Sector rotation. We are observing a classic ETH beta rotation today. That is the Fusaka upgrade that is live. And equities correlation: the US equities are mixed, flat, as they also digest the labor data that we just got today. Bitcoin is trading relatively uncorrelated intraday, holding its own floor independent of the Nasdaq's chop. So something tells me that 95K liquidity is what's keeping the price around there. There's the scenario that we pinch it and then we have some sort of retracement bigger, just from the top of my head, because sometimes you get that pullback. Now we just got a pullback into 91. There is a chance that we grab that 95 and then we have a pullback into the 87. We clear the fair value gap and then we get a third attempt. That's just another potential path to get the same similar outcome of continuing into the consumption of the liquidity on the upper end. Of course, what I prefer is anything that says we're gonna delay the rate cut or something like that and we get a puke into 74. That makes things more easy. Just a matter of convenience. I really don't care if price goes up or lower. Let me know what you want for the price. I bet that the 90% of the people that are watching this video, they want the price to get over 100K. So I hope you don't get angry with me, because my wishful thinking sometimes tends to play out more often than not. But well, let me be devil's advocate, and until the daily doesn't break, there's no much bearishness I can spread. So that 40.56, in my opinion, on the daily, I will make it very easy for you. Just grab the RSI daily, put these lines like this, mark down the 40.56, put an alert on the RSI, being below that intra-candle, just to poke on your shoulder. Remember that what matters is the candle close. So intraday, you get notified just to look at the charts, and that could be an indication that something broke. But as long as we hold that level, everything continues in the same direction of the orange arrow that I have in here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Unfortunately, today I couldn't do neither the live stream public, neither the one with the elite members. I'm still gonna do it tomorrow. I had a bunch of personal issues that I need to solve. Anyways, see you tomorrow. Take care. Hit the like, subscribe, write down a comment down below. Always. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.